Ugh, I've been a terrible father. A terrible father to this gaming PC, like. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Johnny Vegas. No, I'm not. I can't keep doing that because I'm going to give myself tonsillitis. You're here on Concept Soup. But it is true, I have been a terrible father. And that's not just because I left you after sleeping with your mother all those years ago. Ha 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 ha. No, I've been a bad father to this custom loop. This custom loop was grim. I don't know what I was thinking when I was putting this together. We're going to sort it out. We're going to fix our mistakes, and we're going to come up with this beautiful machine behind us. So stay tuned to have a look over the horror show and indeed the beautiful final result. Beautiful. Just beautiful. So here we go. This is what this PC used to look like. So when we first put it together, we thought it'd be like a nice sort of white build, you know, with a cloud white sort of coolant inside it. We thought it looked pretty dang nice. But unfortunately, what we didn't know is EK Duraclear tubing is awful, and it is completely discolored over time. And it's only been running for about a month or two, and it's already completely discolored. This looks like aquafaba, the water that comes with chickpeas. That's basically this. I could drain this out. I could make myself a lovely mousse with this. But you don't want it in your PC. It looks grim. And then we had a look at the graphics card as well. It's covered in all kinds of deposits from all this solid stuff. So this is the one where I said, I'm not going to be using solid coolants anymore, just translucent ones. So that was one of the big things that we got wrong here. But there's other ways that we can really elevate this build to make it look a lot nicer, because it looks decent when it was new, but it could look a lot better. So we're going to mix things up a little bit. The first thing we had to do was drain the loop of all the fluid. So we've disconnected some of the fittings here. We're just trying to drain out as much as we can. So another problem here, where it is actually my fault for building it in this way, is that we didn't really have like a drain port on this anywhere, so it made getting all the water out of the system a bit more tricky than it maybe could have been, because all our pump res combo is above the lowest point in the loop, which does make things a little bit more difficult when draining things out. So we're running the pump there, just trying to get everything out, and we're flushing in distilled water from the top as well, just to try and flush out as much as we can just through the tubing assembly. And we're going to take it all apart and rebuild it into a much more glorious PC. And now comes the mass disassembly. We're starting from scratch. We're taking it all off. We're cleaning everything. We're replacing parts. We're going to make it look so much nicer. You can see the tubing on here is absolutely gross. It just looks, it's not actually coated with anything, it's just discolored, but it just looks so awful, and no one wants to get a high-end rig where their tubing looks like this. So we're taking everything out and we're going to start again. So our first task was to clean out some of the blocks. So there's our CPU block and our video card block. So it's really easy to take apart the EK CPU blocks. So you just undo the screws on the side there. I'm using my iFixit kit, link in the description. And you can see there's all kinds of gunk all over the fins in this. So we're going to take it all out. We're going to give it a wash. I like to wash it first with a bit of regular tap water. And then I go for the one last go with the distilled water to wash all the ions off it so you don't get corrosion. And we're essentially just going through clearing off all the muck off the CPU cooler. And then we're going to move on to the video card. So this is even more grim than the CPU. So if we show you on screen now, you can see all the deposits of all the white EK coolant that we had before. It's really gumming this thing up. So we're going to take off the back plate. We're going to take off the cooling pads and everything. We're going to leave the thermal pads in place, but everything else is going to come off. And we're going to really get in there nice and elbow greasy. We're going to clean out all of the gunk off this to the best of our ability to make it look nice and fresh for when we reinstall it. So the blocks are now clean. Everything is ready to go. So we're going to install all our components, and rather than do a really long build tage, that's not going to be useful here because this took hours and hours, and you're going to get bored. So we're going to show you the final result in a minute with a few little sneaky bits of footage throughout the build process just to keep it spicy. So we'll see you on the other side. there is the finished result, and it's also here as well. But my gosh, how nice does this system look now? So much better than how we started. And I was really happy that I put this time in to make this build what it really should have been in the first place, which is a real spectacle. We've got this PCIe vertical riser here, which gives us a really nice view of the componentry. We've moved some of the radiators around, so we had radiator on the front before, we moved it onto that side to give it a nice open, airy feel into the case. We've got our loop order. Actually, loop order doesn't really usually matter, but I like splitting them up. It just works better in my head. I know scientifically it doesn't make any difference. We were going straight from the pump, video card, radiator, CPU, radiator, back to the pump again, and that's really an ideal loop in my limited experience. But very nice. Looks baller, which is the main point of liquid cooling, is not really the temperatures, it's really the looks, and that's really what you get here. But that said, the temperatures are excellent. So we're going to be getting into some temperature testing in a moment, but let's just gawp over what we've got here. It's a really nice looking machine. If I didn't already have a hard tube liquid cooled PC, I'd probably actually just steal this one for myself, because it is very high performance and just looks absolutely gorgeous, very classy in this case. So very happy with it all. But what about temperatures? Let's check it out now. So with our temperature testing, if you're new to the channel, we run our CPU and our graphics card temperatures at the same time. So we run the tests at the same time, just 30 minutes. That's usually all it takes to get up to peak load. So we're using Prime 95 on the CPU, OCCT on the video card. So with Prime 95, you obviously get these spikes where the temperature goes really high. So we'll record the highest temperature, but we'll also record a very unscientific term called the equilibrium temperature. So this is where you ignore those really big spikes and what is the general settled temperature for this CPU. So our max temperature was 80 degrees and our equilibrium temperature was 57. This is actually excellent. For a Ryzen 9 5950X, this is a really good result. Typically with your standard AIOs in this same kind of configuration, I'd be expecting your temperatures to be up in the 90s. So you're actually getting a benefit over AIOs, but it's not that much of a benefit, but you're still getting a benefit, and it's going to keep it a bit quieter. It's going to keep things running a bit cooler as well. But where liquid cooling does excel is in video card temperatures. So we're under 70 degrees here on an RTX 3090. That's really good. That's actually fantastic. And that means that you've got plenty of headroom, both on the CPU and on the video card, to get a bit of overclocking in if that's something that you want, or you can reap the benefits of having a nice quiet system. So overall, very happy with the temperature test there. These aren't the lowest that I've ever seen, so it's probably the lowest I've seen on the CPU, but on the video card, I've had other video cards that are actually cooler than this, but they aren't the super Supreme-X, 3090s. So that goes to show that you're getting really excellent cooling performance here as well. The backplate as well really keeps those VRAM temperatures down. I don't actually have the number here, but those VRAM temps are much cooler than you'd get on a standard stock backplate, so very happy with that overall. But how about some gaming performance? Because, after all, this is a gaming PC. It's a multi-use PC. Obviously, you can do video editing and stuff, but gaming is our main focus here. Heaven benchmark. Bit of an old benchmark, but it's really nice to sort of stratify things like this. So our FPS average on the extreme preset, 299.3. That's the best that I've seen on this. It's actually a bit better than my own 3090 5950X system, which is a little bit annoying. But there you go. Very nice with a score of 7540. Nice this. Shadow of the Tomb Raider, so we're running the built-in benchmark. So at 1080p, we're getting 215 FPS average, and then we did rock it up to 4K, and then we got 137 FPS average, which actually is really not bad at all. Considering this is 4K, not easy to run. You've got a high-end system when you're getting these kind of results. But what about some real-life games? So for these, normally we just test them at 1080p because that's what my monitor is, but I did put a bit of extra effort this time and did some 4K testing as well through some magic work on my capture card. But we're going to put them side by side, and we're starting off with Fortnite, which is obviously one of the most popular titles out there. And you can see the difference. So we're playing 1080p on the more competitive settings. This is basically everything on low, apart from the draw distance, which is on max. We're getting around 390 FPS average, which is absolutely mad. So, even 360 Hz monitor users, high-level scrim players, this is kind of what you're going to be going for, 1080p here. But when you rock it up to 4K, we're still getting a decent playable experience. This is 4K on
close to maximum settings. There's shadows off, a couple of other things not on the max setting. We're running at about 125 FPS average. That's pretty nice. The problem with playing Fortnite on epic settings is you do get a bit of stutter and a bit of lag. So I usually recommend people play on like high rather than ultra, because you get pretty much the same image quality, much higher FPS. But it's just a showcase of how much you can expect to get from this game. What about Apex Legends? Another very popular title. So playing at 4K. FPS average around 150 FPS, so if you've got a 4K 144Hz monitor, you want to play some Apex Legends, you're really balling out with this setup. This is absolutely brilliant. It's really nice to be able to say, yes, there's actually a use case for a 4K 144Hz monitor, because most of the time there just isn't. How about running it at 1080p? Well, as you'd expect, much higher. FPS average rocking up around 280 FPS, which is where the game is close to capping out anyway, because it caps out at 300 FPS. So yeah, it's exactly what you'd expect from such a high-end system to get these kind of fantastic results. So I'm just so pleased with how all this turned out. What did you guys think? I want to see your comments down below. I want to see everything. I want to see your thoughts. I want to see your comments. I want to see your likes and subscribes, please, baby. And actually, this PC is for sale now in the UK. So if you do want to pick it up, please do. Head to the link in the description and you can grab it from there. But be warned, it is dang expensive, because these water cooling parts, they are not cheap. So I'm going to end the video there. I want to say thanks very much for sticking around, especially if you're still here at the end of the video. Wish you a good day, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye! This video is brought to you in partnership with JCPCCustoms.com, purveyors of fine gaming PCs. But why buy from JCPC Customs? There are 3 pillars to what we do: enthusiast grade build quality, stunning good looks that you are proud to display, and all at a fair price. But how do you get your hands on one? Well, we've got 3 methods. We have the ready to go PC section. These are PCs that are already built, ready to ship out with optimized specifications. So excellent for the most fuss-free experience. For those that want to spec out themselves, you can use our configurator listing, and this is where you can choose some lists of parts that we have available to us. But for the most granular experience, the truly custom experience, you can use our custom spec service, and this is where you fill out our Google form. You can choose every component, even down to the model number, and any other accoutrements that you also want with the PC can be accommodated here. So thank you very much for watching, and head to jcpccustoms.com to learn more. Wait, don't go anywhere just yet. Quick one, I've got a discount code for you for jcpccustoms.com. Use code YTFREE at checkout. You get free shipping on anything on the website. That includes PCs, so that's like a £30 saving right there. Anyway, on with your regularly scheduled content.